Well. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I'm Gio from Smart Home Makers, and what you just heard was Scottish bagpipes. Thanks to Dave Mitchell for sending it over. Obviously, it was the Ukrainian national anthem. And look, here on this show and on many other creators that you're going to see appearing very shortly, we normally don't deal with politics, but we're going to have to make an exception for what's going on in the world, which is very saddening. And I'm not going to add more to that. You know already what's going on. There's going to be a link in the description down below for a way to support the cause, refugees. It's the Red Cross. And also any super chats that you do during the stream, I will donate them to the cause, obviously. So I really want to welcome everyone. All of you guys already here. We've got Dale, Jerome. Here we go. And really sorry, I'm not going to pronounce your name, Andriy from Ukraine itself. So thank you for joining, and feel free to share what's going on. But we're here really to entertain you. That's what we can do really the best we can. And we're going to try and do that with some of smart home questions, a little bit of a Q&A session, and feel free to not think about what's going on and concentrate about automations, home assistant, and much more. So let's bring everyone back up. So we've got Lewis, we've got Chris, and we've got Mark. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
What's up?
I was muted.
Yeah, all good. So I don't think anyone needs any introductions, but just in case, maybe let's do a round of table and everyone sort of introduces themselves, their channel, what they mainly do, and we just start with the questions.
Or you want to go first?
Well, I'm assuming if someone's connected here, probably knows who I am, so I'll try to skip myself. But please, Chris, you go first.
Okay. My name is Chris, and I have the Mostly Chris channel, and I've been doing it for a couple of years. And mostly it's about home automation and IoT and technology and stuff. And not necessarily a home assistant fanboy, but I would say 99.9% of the videos that I make are home assistant related. So take that as you will. But I make videos for fun and help people out, and hopefully somebody learns something new, because I do every time I make a video, and that's me.
Nice.
Do you want to go, Lewis?
Awkward silence. Yeah, I'm Lewis. I'm from the channel Everything Smart Home and make content about smart home in general, mostly home assistant, but we do cover some other stuff as well.
I'm Mark from Mark What Tech, definitely home assistant fanboy. Yeah, I make videos on tech and home assistant.
I like your new background, Mark. You just moved, right? Homes.
Yeah, I've moved. It's newish. I removed everything in the office the other week, but yeah, usually I have the green screen up, so it's a bit of a behind the scenes.
Nice.
Do you like green screens?
I like it that you don't have to tidy up the background.
I'm gonna start looking and seeing what's going on.
Well, this is not a green screen anymore. I need a succulent or something here for depth, but it's hanging on a green screen because behind it, this is behind the scenes. No one ever sees it. I'm actually in the guest bedroom, so behind me is a bed and other junk, and this is my studio space. So I don't want that on there. But man, I like Lewis's background. I want to do something like that. I need some space so I can load up some background. And you and Gio look like you have the same. You and Mark and Gio have the same builder there.
It must be a UK thing. I don't know, maybe
IKEA special it is.
I'll tell you the story about this maybe another time. But hey, we've got someone else join the stream. Surprise, surprise.
Don't let him in. Don't let him in.
Oh no, he's here.
We was about not to let him in. Now they screwed the screen completely now.
Yeah, it's no longer symmetrical.
This guy
Wait,
destroys
hold on.
green screens.
Okay. All right, we'll do this. Yeah, I'll try to center myself.
I think he's
How's it
muted.
going?
Are you muted?
I can't hear him.
I cannot hear
It's a
him.
good thing.
He's doing this.
Can you hear me now?
That's
Yes.
better.
Okay.
Have you had a few drinks? No?
As promised. As
As
promised.
promised. Okay. All right, nice. Is that a real background or a green screen? We're talking about green screens.
I'm in a toilet, so yeah, that's green screen also. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, really behind me, if the door would be open, you would see the bathroom. So it's much better to like this. Oh, hi,
Oh,
Louis.
right.
You're next to me.
Yo, what's up?
Right, nice. Okay, look, the comments are pouring in, as you can see. A lot of support coming in for the cause, for Ukraine. Also, nice shout out. It's cool to see everyone on the screen. Come on, guys, we want some questions, yeah? Q&A. I mean, you've got five, I don't know, say 5 gurus? I don't know how you call us. People that know something about it.
We
At
know a
least
little
we
bit.
pretend to. A
Let
little
me
bit.
try my Ukraine. Привет, Andrei. Привет,
Oh, here we go.
Max.
There you go.
That's it. My Ukrainian is unfortunately привет and a couple of other words.
Are those what are those nice words? I don't know, because I know
It's
other
high.
words in
It's
other
high.
languages.
It's high.
All right, awesome. And Dave's saying, he was the person that did the bagpipes piece at the beginning. You can go rewatch that if you've missed that. And then we got Max. Okay, shout out. He subscribed to all of us. It's a big thank you for that. Right. We've got our nice you muted. We've got a question in.
Yeah.
What prompted you to get started on YouTube? Right. I'll pick Mark to go first, but let's briefly go for this.
Yeah, I don't really know. I started like helping out on forums and stuff, and once somebody asked me for like a more detailed explanation, and I was like, oh, it'd be quicker if I just show you in a video. So I just did like a video with the voiceover, and then lots of people saw that and they were like, hey, that was really helpful. And yeah, I kind of went from there.
Nice. Yeah, similar. For me, I started Home Assistant and then I destroyed it. This was years ago, and I didn't know how to do it again. So I thought I need to document what I'm doing. And then I thought, well, I'm documenting, I'll write something. And then I thought, well, videos, and then sort of got to this point. That's how it happened for me.
I'll go.
Right.
My kids. This is funny. You'll laugh at this, or somebody will. I'll laugh at it for myself. I sometimes, because they're at home, during the summertime or whatever, when we had time off or whatever, and they're watching YouTube, and I'm like, turn that garbage off. And I'm like, I'm a YouTube creator, and I have to tell them to turn it off. But anyway, I look at them watch these shows, and I'm thinking, that can't be that hard to do. What my job is now doesn't let me play with technology as much as I'd like to. So I figured, what the heck, let's do some filmmaking, because, people watch this stuff, and let's take technology, and it gives me the ability to play with technology as well as, use, do the stuff and help others with it. So I think it was me watching my kids watch the stuff in YouTube and thinking, one day I said, I'm going to make a video and it's going to be garbage and no one's going to watch it. And a couple of years later, I've got a few subscribers, and, people interact and watch. And I think that's the fun part, right? And by far, and I said this on our last kind of live stream, is by far the community is mostly positive on stuff that we talk about. I've had a few comments that were not so nice, but, for the most part, the community has been pretty good with it. So I know there's a thread recently on some of that, but I haven't been driven away yet.
Awesome. Someone else wants to pick that up? Or there are plenty more questions anyway. We don't have to all answer all questions.
By the way, we should sort our beards by the growth size. Chris, you should go on the left, and I'm not sure about Louis and me. Yours is more tidy, mine is
I
overgrown.
don't know if you could shuffle around. Hey, look,
Yeah.
we've
think
got
I have
one
a
more,
button.
yeah?
You've got beard in the name though, so maybe you should be at the bottom.
I think I've got a button to like grow it.
Oh, okay.
Let's try it.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going?
Aaron in. He's got no beard, so
Oh,
we got him
that's
in.
not the
now.
button.
Yeah, I don't have a.
That's the bald.
Reverse beard.
Oh,
Привет, Andrei. So you have the same name as me. I'm Andrei, really. My name is Andrei, actually. Well, you probably seen it in my videos because I forget to hide it all the time. So that's a different story.
Right. So, got a question, Home Assistant question coming in. I don't know if we should have a buzzer who wants to answer first, but let's go with let's go with either BT, Lewis, or Aaron, which first. So, what HA integrations you're waiting for? That's the question.
Like ones that haven't been made yet, I guess.
Yep.
I don't know. I haven't really got anything that I haven't all made work somehow. I'd like to see some more camera integrations. I think can often be RTSP is not the best, but there's some of the developments with like WebRTC are making things a lot easier. So I think that's a good one to try and get into, and sort of improves. It's like a quality of life thing for everyone really, because a lot of people want to integrate cameras, and it just makes things a bit easier.
Cool. Aaron?
Yeah, not a specific integration, but I don't know if it even exists, but two-way audio with doorbells. I don't know if they have that yet, and that's like the one feature where it's like I'll use the manufacturer's app for my Amcrest doorbell. And it's like I'm not sure if that exists, but that'd be nice.
A lot of people have been asking for that for like intercoms as well.
mhm.
So yeah, that would be good.
All right. Nice. Anyone else got anything else to say? Or move on to the next one. You guys could keep an eye on the comments that they come in. We got a comment in from Jerome. Seems more of a generic thing, like Home Assistant might not be our first concern at the moment, but can it actually help out in any way, in any crazy way with what's going on? I don't know if anyone can think of it. I haven't got anything.
I think there was an integration that somebody just did, like
for the air raids.
Yes, exactly that. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was
Really?
looking at a couple of things, what potentially we could do that may or may not help in this. And unfortunately, there are not a lot of ways, especially if you look what are some of the things that are connected with war. No power, no electricity, and things like that. So, okay, maybe in the areas where you do have power, there are some things, but unfortunately, I don't believe that Home Assistant can help that much there. For fun, 2 years ago, I created a couple of videos that are now becoming rightfully normal. For example, Geiger-Miller counter, which I always joke. I created it for a joke DIY project, and it's something that people are looking into once again. I did, for example, that there is integration for the aircraft monitoring. It is tracking the aircrafts in the airspace above you, but of course, military aircrafts are not transmitting transponder data, and because of that, you cannot track that integration, so you cannot do anything as in alerting. I've seen that somebody has created. There is a European database that's a real-time database for radiation, not just gamma readings, but things like that. Somebody has created a simple sensor in Home Assistant with that. But unfortunately, most of those things are not useful in those situations. For example, you could create, there are noise sensors that would, upon, I don't know, explosion, which is bad thing, or air raid siren or something like that, would notify you, would, for example, turn off lights, which is something that you should do in terms of the air raids. Unfortunately, we had war here 30 years ago when I was a teenager, 18 years. We were in the bomb shelters. What you're seeing now in Ukraine happened to us 30 years ago, and remembering from your parents, we said what it was like in the Second World War. Unfortunately, when I talk with my colleagues here, we can relate to that, really relate to that, because I was in the shelters, we were rocketed. I had a couple of friends that never came back. Yeah. But I'm not sure, unfortunately, how Home Assistant itself can help with this. There are great projects. There are great projects that you can do with the solar power and the battery that can help you something. But unfortunately, I don't believe there is anything life protecting or something that can be useful.
You know, and what's interesting too, if you look at Home Assistant as an ecosystem, there are thousands of integrations, right? But there's also modifications to those integrations by people who use it. So there's probably stuff going on. I would be interested to know if people are watching and, in the comments, they just talk about what their thoughts are on that. And have they done something to extend one of the integrations to make it work for what they need to? Because there are situations where we don't even, like you're talking about, you've seen this before, but a lot of us haven't, right? And we wouldn't be able to apply our experience to building an integration, but people that are on the ground there who may have done something, who may be running Home Assistant, may have modified something to help them out. It could be as simple as, like you said, turn the lights off, or whatever needs to happen. I'm running a particulate sensor here. Those are there. You could do certain things with particulate sensors, smoke in the air or something like that. You start looking at what's going on. Oh, there's a fire. Whatever, right? There's a lot of things. But it's interesting how much people extend Home Assistant to do the stuff they want. They modify it, and that's what we can do with it. So there may be something out there. We just don't know about it.
Yeah, and from a different perspective, if you think about what's going on with sanctions, and if you think about local control, right, how powerful that is compared to relying on a server on a service that might be shut down because
or no internet, right?
Or no internet, right? Exactly. No internet connectivity. I know that's the least of your problems in that situation.
It's not.
But still, that's one less thing to worry about. That's why local control seems really something that makes you think how much we rely on
I was
external
talking with
services.
Alexei on Twitter and on the Discord. I mentioned a couple of times emergency radio with LoRa. This is something that can be. I'm no programmer. I cannot do it. I can find snippets of code and maybe put something together. And there was a site offering its emergency radio over LoRa, which goes up to 20-30 kilometers. Supplying people with devices that would give them alerts in the areas where there is no power. Because if there is no power, after a few days, you will not have a petrol for generators, meaning that even the alerts for the air raids will not work. So being able to use small solar cell with some simple batteries and LoRa for 30, 40, 50 kilometer range to distribute warnings, that would be helpful. That really would be helpful. But yeah, you would need to have parts, you would need to have that distributed. It takes time. And time is something that people don't have.
Yeah.
Because, a company that I work for, we have brought a couple of employees from UK. We have offices in Ukraine, and desk next to mine is sitting a girl from Ukraine. She was from Kiev, and she did manage to get out. But her parents are in Mariupol, which is in the middle of everything. So the biggest problem, she cannot reach them. She manages to get message to them every couple of days, through friends, through somebody, something, somewhere, but she doesn't have updates. And in today's world, it's really impossible for us to think that I would send a message and maybe receive answer after 4 or 5 days, because
Yeah,
we
it's
interact.
crazy, isn't
I
it?
send message to you, reply to me instantly. So
I heard that, Musk had, he's got his satellites and he's trying to, moving things around to give broadband. But then you need like the satellite equipment to communicate to the satellite, I guess, right?
Are you talking about Starlink?
Yeah. I heard that they sort
you
of
know
were
what's the
trying to
biggest
help.
problem? I will not. I will leave in 5 minutes. Sorry, I'm still drinking my whiskey, and I will leave. I had a bad day. Sorry. So, do you know? Did you read about it? So it's a double swords problem with the Elon Musk antennas, because those antennas heat up a lot, and currently the temperatures outside are around freezing in Ukraine. You have on roofs devices that are emitting heat, which are really great sources for targeting with rockets. So the question
Right.
is, if this can be used also in not intended purpose or way to be a target for any heat-seeking missiles. So that's also issue, which I don't know.
Yeah.
I've just read about it. It can be,
No, it's a good point. What you're right. Okay, let's just move on to something a little bit more lighter topic.
I saw that question. I'm going to interrupt your question because I'm going to say log file. Flat out, it's going to be the log file or the database. And I don't remember. I either talked about this or I did a video on it, or I just fixed it on my own thing. My database was ridiculously huge.
1 gigabyte's quite small.
We-
Really. Mine's is like 7 or 8 gig just on the normal database, not including like the time series. So yeah, one gig's not too bad.
So let's see.
You can do things like
It's a
set your
long-standing
retention.
problem. Yeah. So Dave says long-standing problem. So is that it's been 1 gig for a year, or it started to become 1 gig overnight and it's getting bigger? I mean, that's a question for Dave. But yeah, it's typically the database. And while I'm talking, I wonder if I can get on I'm just going to look and see what my whole
got a
size of my stuff
suggestion
is.
here from Jan the Man. He's saying the backup. He or she is saying I mean he.
Jan
yes,
the Man,
saying-
he, yeah.
Jan the Man. I can say he, right? Saying the backups as a suggestion. So
That's possibly. So in your system, we can see the size. Well, yeah, we can see the full size. So right now I'm at 14% of 1 terabyte, whatever that is. Is that 140 gig? I don't know. 14% of.
Backup is almost 3 gigs. So that's most of that is database and the log files.
How'd you see that? How'd you look that up?
In the backup configuration.
Oh,
Backup.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's is 5.6 gig just now, just one backup.
Yeah, mine's 600 meg now. Actually, I shut a lot of stuff down, and my retention's pretty low. But I stored it in Influx, and that's where stuff was growing too. Was Influx? Influx database had a retention of like infinity or something, and so it's just keeping stuff forever. I've had it running for like 3 or 4 years.
I mean, they must be running a lot of devices, especially playing around with videos. You get the messiest system ever, unless you have a separate system used for videos. I feel it just gets messy in like a few months. You don't really clean up.
Mark has very clean system.
Mark, really? Oh,
Yeah.
you tell us the secret then.
What's this?
He started from scratch.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
clean system.
Very clean.
No. Yeah, the trick is to just buy a new house and then start from the beginning.
And there you go.
Did you move from another house and you just left everything behind?
I left some stuff there.
What do your buyers say? What does this switch do? Nothing, because the brains are with you.
Yeah. Well, when I was doing like the cleanup, I was going around and I was just finding loads of like little Akara buttons and just things like under cupboards. Just because I went about it the wrong way. I should have started with like child devices and then like worked my way up. But I was just like, nope, brains. Just all the big things, all the shiny things I took first. So yeah, there was lots of little straggly bits around.
Yeah,
Nice.
my wife wants to move at some point, and I mean, and I look at the stuff in the house, and half of it's wired in. I've got those GE paddle switches; they're all hardwired. And so, I mean, do I take those? Do I take my camera? I mean, it's just, I don't know if I want to start brand new because I didn't do it all at once, right? It takes time to build all this and buy all this stuff. And nowadays, unless you're buying Aquara or Zeus, you're gonna have to wait to get that stuff because of the
I've done none of
shortages.
my UI stuff yet. Everything's still like just. So yeah,
How do you make videos if you don't have
magic. It's all
Does he
fake.
still
that.
make videos?
We've got some good news for you, BT. Kevin or Henry VIII. Subscribe to everyone, but don't subscribe to BT. But
Yeah.
I think he sort of means that he will subscribe afterwards.
No,
I don't think he's
probably.
suggesting not to subscribe.
I wouldn't subscribe to myself. Don't worry. No.
And more kind regards, all favorite YouTubers on one stream. Very nice to see you. But it does seem Frigid and Double Take work very nice. Is this for you, Chris?
Mm.
Who's
How's it work nice? I want to know the answer. Well, okay, so that's yeah. So I've done a lot of Frigid stuff, and I've done Copperface and Double Take and all of that, and they're nice. I mean, Frigid works. I've been running it in place of Blue Iris for a year now, or something like that, 6 or 8 months, and it runs on my Odroid N2 Plus, my little blue. No longer does my study get warmed up from the computer that has to run for Blue Iris all the time. That was a power sink, and the reason I really did that, besides just playing with it, is when the power goes out, my UPS for that computer lasts about 5 minutes because the load on it's so heavy with Blue Iris. Now I can run Frigid and my camera stay up for 30 or 45 minutes if the power goes out, because all it's running is that little Blue Iris or the Home Assistant Blue thing. So yeah, and I do Double Take and all of that stuff, but I haven't really, I mean, it sees us. What's interesting about my family is if I tell it to train my face, my son looks a little bit like me. Obviously it should, hopefully. But it identifies us two as, and he's only like 7 years old, but it sees his face and thinks it's me, and sees my face and thinks it's him. So there's still a lot of training. I think you got to have a lot of training on those things to make them really useful. And you got to have resolutions that get your face, because in a lot of cases, if someone's walking out by my truck in the driveway, the face is too small for the box it'll identify it, but then it says it's not really who it is because it's too small. So the use cases for that are really close in. I don't even know. I mean, unless you have something that can like really zoom in, you one of those PTZ cameras that follows the deal. But
yeah, quite expensive, I guess.
I'm still using Facebox, which was 3 or 4 years ago. It was a thing with Home Assistant. It was free. I don't know what followed, but it ended up with whatever you are doing now, and it works, and it can recognize my children by the age, meaning they are similar, but there is a difference in the age, and it still recognizes the correct face and gives correct name. So I always ended up going back to that. It's not CPU intensive. It doesn't need any extra memory or anything. There is a problem with it. You can only teach it 20 faces, but I think you can teach it 20 faces with multiple images, so you can still make a pattern out of that. But my company worked with that before, and it's funny how on one side you can train it to do something perfectly, meaning you have 99.997 or whatever positives, meaning that it corrects it recognizes it correctly. But there are some things that just don't work, and I think that cameras are still way off, especially as you said, day, night, winter, summer, cover face, non-cover face. At what angle you are looking at camera? Are you walking? There are so many things that influence that part. I have no problem with face recognition, because you cannot approach my apartment. You have to go through the corridor, and I just look at the corridor, and I can always get perfect image of your face. But if
It's a
you have
good
house,
angle, yeah.
it's always
Yeah,
perfect.
that's the issue too, right? My front
Yeah.
porch looks down on top of people,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really get a good image for it, so it's hard to do that. The thing about it is you can probably, let's say 70 or 80% reliability, you can identify a face, but that you can't use 75 and 80% to automate something because that remaining percent, it's never going to work. You know, we all who have been early Z-Wave adopters hated that kind of reliability with our Z-Wave garbage. It's not garbage now, by the way, but our Z-Wave stuff, right? So I don't want that for trying to rely on a camera to tell me something's happening. I've seen people successfully do it if they put it in a room. Like if I put a camera in this room I'm in now and I walk in and I put it in the right place, it'll see my face and then I can automate something, right? Or another room in the house. I'm just not allowed to have cameras inside the house. Wah, wah, wah.
Fair point. Well, look, I'm gonna raise something now, which is probably connected to what's going on. Oh, that's a camera, right? So the question I had, right? So everyone's facing these high energy bills, at least in the UK we are. But I guess it's a worldwide problem. So can we save money? Have we got any tips with our smart gadgets and smart capabilities? Have you got any tips for the viewers?
Turn off the
how
lights.
They can actually save money. Well, I guess you could do that without smart gadgets.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Apparently, I know this. I have kids. They don't know how to turn those lights off. Anyway, I've never tried specifically saving it other than like big ticket items like the air conditioner, right? That thing is, and I don't know do you have air conditioning in the UK? Some people do, but here the air conditioner makes up a majority of our energy usage in the summertime. I mean, it'll get into the 100-degree range here, Fahrenheit. And so it'll run from about, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon until after 10 p.m. So you're talking about 7 or 8 hours of runtime, just nonstop, right? And so that's our basic.
What kind of air conditioners do you run? Are those the split systems, window systems?
No, not window. It's central air conditioning. So there's a unit that sits in the attic that's vented to all the vents in the house. And we actually have 2 stories. So we have a damper that sends the air either upstairs or downstairs or both. So 2 thermostats. And then there's a compressor sits outside that, takes care of evacuating the heat from the air or whatever.
For example, I'm about to install air conditioner finally because summers here have become impossible, really. And I was looking at one. It will be up to 55 square meters. So most of the air conditioning in the EU is split systems. You have external unit and internal unit.
Yeah, that's the same thing, right?
But it's not like you have ducts with the air. It's like something sitting on the wall, blowing the air inside, and then doing the thermal, thermal blah, blah, to the external system, which cools the air, radon. What is the gas inside the
Freon or something like that?
No, Freon, no.
Coolant.
EU Freon, no. EU.
Refrigerant.
Refrigerant, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for the 5 kilowatts of heating or cooling, you get about 1 kilowatt of electricity, which means 20% of the energy is used in the electricity. Other is just thermal electricity. It's not 1 kilowatt of power used converted to the 1 kilowatt of either heat or cold air. And they're really efficient. I think that currently with us, dishwashers and microwaves are the devices that use more power than the air conditioner.
And what about like smart plugs and other devices? Do you think it's worth having a smart plug like for the television, for the standby items, or it's not worth doing that anymore?
I don't know if it's for that. Smart plugs are good for things like, I've mentioned this a few times. My refrigerator has some sort of control board issue, and I'm just too cheap to replace the refrigerator because they're expensive, like $1,000 US or $1,200 US for a refrigerator. And, you know, yeah, I could replace a control board, but that's another issue entirely. And trying to get that stuff's hard now. But you'll see the power monitoring on the plug, and I know to watch for it. I can automate it, say like it's been running for like 3 days. The fan never shuts off because it's trying to blow cold air from the freezer compartment up into the refrigerator, because that's how it cools the refrigerator, and it gets ice in there, and it can't get the air up efficiently, and so because it's frozen partially, and so the power monitoring plug alerts me to whenever that thing is running all the time. I'll go force a defrost cycle, which will clear that ice manually. I'll do that once every couple of 3 days or a week or something, whatever it is. But that turns it off and keeps it from running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's energy efficiency.
That's good.
By monitoring, because you have a part that's failing or whatever, or it can identify a part that is failing. Let's say you have a washer or dryer or microwave that uses a certain amount of power, and all of a sudden it spikes. Well, there's a component probably about to fail in that thing, right? So you're either going to blow it up because it fails. You're going to replace it with something that's not broken, or something that's replaced because it's broken, or you know, it could be even a potential fire hazard because it's drawing more power than it really should from whatever. So, I mean, power monitoring can lead to power savings in certain situations.
All right, nice. And look, we've also got more nice remarks. Feels like the Oscars, all the celebrities on one screen.
Can we call it the homies?
I don't know, like what award we would
Isn't
get.
that trademarked?
Yeah, it's
Oh, it is homies or Oscars.
Or don't cause me any issues here. With,
Oh, now that's so
copyright, yeah.
I was, in terms of energy saving, there are a couple of ways you can do it, but the problem is, okay, we are currently looking, for example, as Europe as is. My master's degree was in the international oil and gas. Sorry. So this will not be long. Half an hour later. Okay,
That's
so
your master's degree.
you look at the prices of the gas. Everybody says we have to move from whatever to whatever, something new. There isn't anything new. Electricity in Croatia still is too expensive to be used as heating. Gas was the heating energy. Everybody has gas, and we used for all the hot water, for all the heating, we use gas. So now they say you have to optimize either your systems, exchange my system, which it is old already. So I have to get about 1,200, 1,500 just for the new unit, plus 500 euros for the exchange. So about 2,000 euros to exchange something that is still using the same energy. That has now become problem because, yeah, we have to import, and we all know from where we were importing gas from. The alternative is to go to the electricity. If I do it, my neighbor does it, and thousands of others, we have the other problem, electricity. And also some of the electricity is produced from the gas. So you see the magic circle we are going. The gas prices are going, but the electricity prices will go even if the gas prices don't go up. So it's really hard to currently find something that will be maybe sustainable in 5 years. And if you invest in something, it should be at least 5 years. I've seen somebody on Twitter posted something, and I will probably get it if I finally understand how it works. Solar panels for apartment without battery. Normally you have solar panels, you have inverter or MPPT to the batteries, inverter. Then you have in your fuse box something that switches between one power or the other depending on whatever. And this one is produced in Germany. It's just really like solar panels with built-in inverter, and you directly plug it into your power outlet. And the way it works is your system or your home should first use the power that is a bit over voltaged. And when it uses everything that sun is producing, then it starts importing electricity from the grid, which is very simple system, not expensive. It's 350 watts. We are talking about maximum power, maximum sun, maximum everything. 350 watts, solar panels with inverters, with everything, 450 euros or something like that. And there is a limit. You cannot use more than 2 panels per apartment, because then you will be in violation of the code. Yeah. So you cannot hook up secondary power to the power grid if it's above 600 watts, something like that. That can be beneficial. It doesn't solve much, but it can keep your bills lower if there is sun.
Cool. Awesome. I forgot I've lost my track. Where were we? Yes, here we go. Here's the next question. Thanks for the energy fund. Hopefully we'll be able to save what we can save. But yeah, so this is about smoke alarms, which is sort of
Smoke alarms.
connected what we talked about previously about knowing of things happening. Obviously, smoke isn't great. So Gunnar is asking about a specific smoke alarm that he has, and if anyone has any experience or has any smart smoke alarms that they could chip in. I
did a video
anything
on the Z-Wave combo, sitting over there actually on the desk. The First Alert or whatever brand that is, I did a video on that, but I don't know that I trust that stuff yet. Right, that's why it's not been put in my ceiling. And these right here, the thing about smoke detectors, in my opinion, are, number one, no one wants to. I don't think people want the liability of having a connection like Z-Wave or something like that to make reporting. I don't know. I've never seen this Zigbee one. But even Nest, I don't know why Nest doesn't expose those in their API. I have 3 Nest Protects, and I have a Nest integration with my thermostats, but there's no way to talk to those smoke detectors. And I don't know if that's a liability issue on Google's part or the reason why. I don't understand. So I wish there was a nice Z-Wave, reliable smoke detector / carbon monoxide detector that we could use. I don't have any thoughts on it, because the one I did use, I'm not sure I trust it in a Z-Wave setup.
But what about how Amazon Assistant offers the ability with the it's the guard feature, and it listens for alarms. I don't know if there's anything that's not cloud based that could do the same thing. Then you could just have dumb alarms, and if you have something that can pick those up.
I have that. I beta tested that for them for a while, just because it showed up on my app. Every time the dog barked or whatever, it would alert me that there was a sound or some sort of noise, and it'd tell me which one of them it picked up. It can do that, but so you're adding that. That's the other thing too, is you're adding a point of failure part of it too.
Yeah, it's probably less reliable than just straight Z-Wave, I guess.
Yeah. I wish there was something, because I would, whenever Nest decided to change their stuff and sell off to Google, I was looking for an alternative for those Protects. And this combo, which I can't buy anymore, I can't find it anywhere. The Z-Wave combo was what I thought would be the answer to that.
I'm still waiting for the Shelly one.
Oh, they making one?
Shelly is releasing the smoke sensor, and it's been on the release schedule for 2 years now, something like that. Coming soon.
It's a pandemic.
Coming soon, TM.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of those Develco smoke sensors that the question mentions. I haven't tested the smoke, but I have got the heat ones as well, and I've tried them by putting them next to a flame, and yeah, they do alert and they're loud. So I would guess that the smoke ones would be pretty similar. Yeah, I've actually got them up on the roof, but they just never went off because there's never been any smoke. So
see, that's the problem with these testing. I haven't been able to. I guess I could figure out a way to test it, maybe in the garage or outside or something. I don't want to real life test one of those Z-Wave smoke detectors.
Yeah, but I have there's the heat alarm, which is for in your kitchen, so that you don't get false positives, and that one does go off if you put it near a flame, so it does seem to work. They're nice because they've got temperature sensors built in as well as sirens, so you can kind of get them working with your alarm system. You can like interconnect them with all of your other alarm systems and have a siren in every room so that they all go off at once, which is nice. And plus the temperature sensor being built in means you don't have to have an additional one. So yeah, I actually like those Develco ones. Got a couple of them.
They're just Zigbee based, are they?
Yeah, Zigbee.
Cool. It's good. All right, next question. Victor is asking about Influx. So if it does make sense to shift Influx to, for example, a NAS, is anyone using Influx a lot?
That's a religious issue.
Yeah. There is nothing against it. It can improve the system. If you look at how modern systems are architecture, look, you have a web interface on something, processing in the middle, and database on the third component. So yeah, moving it out can be beneficial. You can store it for longer, or it doesn't have to impact your main system setup. So it can help. It shouldn't be, if you have normal network. So you should have normal network.
That's an interesting question I've thought about recently. Is I have, and if you watch my top add-ons video, you saw a bunch of junk that I'm running on just the Blue, right? It's a single. If that thing goes down, I lose a lot of things, right? So you have this trade-off between low power consumption, it's really a single pane of glass kind of thing where everything's running on one piece of equipment. And then, okay, well, then you have everything running on one piece of equipment, right? So if you have a server in the house or you have a VM somewhere, why not split that stuff off? And I think just the ease of use of interconnecting things through the add-on and ingress and installing it makes it one of the reasons to do it. But lately I've been thinking, should I be splitting these things off onto other hardware and let the Blue do just all the stuff it has to do, like talk to the networks and everything else? I don't know. I think that's a personal preference issue more than anything.
I had a cluster. I had a working cluster. I had Home Assistant and working cluster, meaning that if the main instance would fail, the second one would take over. It was real cluster. And because of the recording, I had to update one setup and the other one still isn't updated. So I had to break the cluster. So let's say that I moved step backwards than what I had before. But it's good point. For example, I keep all my eggs in one basket on Synology. I have backups there, meaning that, okay, I'm considering that maybe the option that VM would fail before my RAID drives will. So I will always have backup. How often do I move my backup somewhere else? Not that often.
You have local backup or you have it offsite?
Mostly local. I do offsite by hand once a month.
Here's something that I do with my NAS. I have a Synology NAS and I use Amazon Glacier. It's an all or nothing backup, but it's like super cheap and it offloads all my stuff to, depends on the volume. I don't back up any of my movies or Plex related files because I don't care. What? Oh, I don't back up certain directories.
So, yeah.
We're gonna put it solo. Yeah, Chris.
I don't back up certain directories, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, I stuff that's on my NAS I don't need to store. But I have family photos, and if I lost those, I would be kicked to the curb, right? That's super important to my family to have those photos. So I back all that stuff up. It goes to Glacier. And it's automatic. It does it every night. It does a differential backup every night, so it stays offsite. So if my NAS blows up,
my wedding photos.
What?
Drive with the wedding photos.
Oh no, you can't get remarried again, right?
Yep.
It'll cost a lot of money, right? Just to reenact the photos, right?
Yeah. Do you remember where you're standing last time? Can you stand there again? And the thing is, my wife completely trusts me in terms of that because she's not a technology person. And sometimes I think about how fragile that kind of stuff is. she used to print all her photos out and put them in photo albums. And then when we got married, she stopped doing that kind of for the most part. So it's all on me to keep those backups. And I feel the pressure. I feel
that.
I feel that.
That's with great power comes great responsibility. Okay,
But you wouldn't believe it's not that you receive kind of yelling or something. It's like that look where you just see, okay, I disappointed you really.
Yes, it's the
lot.
disappointment. It's the no, you were completely wrong and you did it and you
It's
can't be
the old-
mad.
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah,
That's worse than being mad.
It took me years to get maybe 20-30% of all the photos that we lost from the people that we sent photos out. So I had to contact all my relatives, friends, everybody.
Oh,
Listen,
wow.
guys, just send me whatever you have. And then I had folders, with main folder, duplicates, triplicates, quadruplicates, triplicates. I was looking at everything to see if I could find just a single photo that's not already in the recovered, which is not really recovered. It's just like luck that somebody had that photo. Yeah.
Does your wife know?
Oh yes, she does.
She does now.
She does now.
No.
Once it's on the internet.
she forgot probably. That's why I was quiet because she probably forgot about it. It was like wedding and firstborn. Something. Yeah.
Oh, you really
Wedding
did a
and-
good job.
Yeah. I'm proud.
But you could do better, like when your, kids marry, if they have. You could now improve, right? And,
I bought each of them Azure backup services, so each one of them has everything in the cloud.
It's the same thing. I was thinking about that. Like, I've just got a newborn little daughter. Luckily still sleeping. Well, if she doesn't, I'll disappear. But basically, I was thinking, do I create an email address for them? Right? Because it's there's all this communication going on. Do I need to create an email address already?
I did.
Do I need to, like, at a certain point, I'm going to hand over things over and say, hey, here are all your medical history. Here's all of your photos. Here's all of your, I don't know, whatever you hand over. There must be a handover, right? Even like a moment where you don't check on their, even like accounts. There's a whole thing. Like, I just think if I mess that up, I'll be in trouble. If I lost all the, I don't know. Well, you're still alive, right? So,
but there is opposite thing that you can do. For example, we have a lot of family photos from the time when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. My father was doing photographs or everything, and they were printed. Some are still black and white, some are the color one. So those are the big, large pictures, images.
Is that the one where you had to sit still for like 3 hours while they
something
flash?
like that? No, but they were done. Most of them done by the professional photographers. That's a different story, but no. So I took time, and we have like 10 folders. Like it looks like book. You open it, it's empty, and you have pictures inside. So we have about 10, and I so far scanned 2 of them in the maximum possible resolution you can scan. I imported them on the Synology NAS, cropped them, and they are now like perfect photos that probably would be lost if it wouldn't digitize. So it's great also to have that option. Yeah, of course. I cannot.
That is the kind of thing I would
save. Yeah,
I would definitely hire someone or take it somewhere. I don't know that I could do that for hours and hours. I mean, my wife has probably 20 of those books.
I have a lot of junk ends up at my place. So I have Epson scanner, professional scanner, which has a feeder. Just like feed the photos.
Is that junk?
It ends up, junk.
I'm still waiting for the junk to end up in my mailbox.
No, not that junk. I got it. It was like some of my client was testing it. It was sitting there for 4 years. They said, we don't want this junk. Take it. And I said, okay, I will return it to the manufacturer. They said, what are we going to that? It's like old, used, throw it away. And I throw it at my apartment.
all right.
So what were you storing all of your photos on originally when you lost them?
Drive. Single
Just
drive.
one drive.
Single drive. Now I have RAID fields. I have of sites for photos. I take more care about my photos than Home Assistant.
Oh yeah.
I know
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Home Assistant isn't emotional thing. You can set it up.
It sometimes can be emotional.
It
let me
can
tell
be
you.
if it doesn't work for 15 minutes. But after that, family will get used. I said, okay, listen, guys, use the switches. You use them anyway without me wanting them to be used. I will fix it in day, 2, 3 days, 5 days. But those things you cannot recover.
I think it's interesting that Dave on this, he has a comment that he can only have one backup before he runs out of space on his Google Drive, which it's funny because when I talked about the backup videos, I actually talked about that. What do you get nowadays? 15 gig free or something like that? I don't know that Google's a good place to put these things. And there's just not enough space to do it unless you pay for a subscription. You can do it in Dropbox. Is that still around, by the way? I don't know. I could find the Dropbox backups.
Yeah, but what happens, right? If you have like all these free accounts and no one knows where they are, like this is another thing that I'm thinking. Like no one knows how to get them. Like you said, Glacier, right? I know about Glacier, but like
I don't know how to restore from Glacier
though.
Though.
Around, right? I'm not saying right, but if in general, right? No one would know where they are. Like you need to document this really carefully and step by step how to get it out. Like,
I have a household wiki.
You have a household.
No,
you need to make a video about it. If someone has got like
I believe
proper documented smart home that they went away for 3 weeks and you could get it, and I would copy that. I would love to see that video.
I don't know how I don't even know how to restore from Glacier. I just know it all comes back in one big pile, right?
Did you see anybody seen the news about Russia and the storage problem?
No, storage.
No.
You mean data storage?
That's great. Yeah. So, just imagine, because everyone has at least some knowledge about IT here. At least we are pretending that we know something about the IT here. So, all the access to the Microsoft, Amazon, and Google services were canceled.
Oh.
The companies had to pull the data in the Russia.
Okay.
So they're predicting they still have 2 months of data storage in whole Russia available for the data they currently need. And that is the normal growth of data, which you have companies needing data for whatever. Lawful intercept from government, which is something that all the companies or all the governments impose. That's recording of the traffic, what you are doing on the internet, probably even more there than here. So now they have problem. They cannot rent space. They don't have drives. They cannot buy drives. And the question is, what will you start doing? Will you start deleting stuff that normally isn't deleting? For example, will government start deleting backups to free up the storage? Hot archives or things like that.
Yeah.
Well, was that an Ars Technica article?
I don't know where it was.
Yeah,
I've seen
link
it
if
somewhere.
you find it, but it's very interesting. But I think this could be a big target, right? Just imagine from like if you have a data center and like an AWS data center, and you knew where it was. Just imagine that I know they do replication across different data centers and sites, but still there will be massive damage to business.
Just imagine that, for example, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft wake up tomorrow morning and said, okay, we are not hosting your data. Imagine how much of your data is there on the mail drives, on the backups or photos or whatever.
What I was thinking? Data? I was thinking about, in this context of sanctions and everything that's going on, just think about if we had, I don't know, if there is a Russian Home Assistant content creator. And let's forget politics. Just so if YouTube decides to say, you know what, we're pulling out completely. I don't know if they've done that, but we don't have anyone monetized that's in these countries. Like they'll just lose their entire, if they were relying on this, right, their entire livelihood, just like that.
Yeah,
just outside their control, right? It's scary.
I went to university there. in Russia. So I'm not
Okay.
Russian. I'm from Croatia, but I went there for university. I was there 5 years. I know the language, customs, people. So I follow some content creators from the Russia, from Ukraine, from the whole Eastern Bloc, because I can understand them in the native language. And I've seen one great guy which I mentioned in a couple of streams back on my stream was Alex Guyver. He's a guy. He's doing DIY projects. Those are Russian projects, Russian language, and he did two things. I will not talk about his comment which he made here. In my opinion, it was just to, take a stand, say something, stand like a man, just like, okay. But then he started talking about what those sanctions bring to him, which he's a normal Russian guy. He's not doing anything there. He's living there. So automatically all the content was demonetized, which, okay.
Wow.
But they also are not sure if the channels will be blocked, because they're talking about the not pulling the content, but making it temporarily invisible. He has a GitHub site. He doesn't know what will happen with GitHub because he's doing Arduino projects and things like that. So he had to find alternative place for both his video content and all his code.
Yeah.
Because both companies are saying they will pull all the content from Russia at this point. So, for example, what it means that just imagine that Node.js was made in Russia. What would that mean? That 90% of the web or applications are gone because they cannot use the code that was produced in Russia. I hope that something like that doesn't happen. It just shows you how vulnerable the open source, on the other hand, can be. What would be, for example, if Home Assistant would be from Russia? Okay, you have your instance available. Maybe you wouldn't have you wouldn't have updates and things like that. Maybe somebody would fork it and development would go on. But what if you're using some kind of software for that and you end up in that situation? Not saying that's good or bad, just makes you think how things work today.
Lots of thoughts on all of that. Yeah. Lots of considerations.
Yeah. Well, let's think about Z-Wave. Someone said Z-Wave sucks.
No, no.
No.
I remember.
I've heard that on the internet. I don't have any issues except my ridiculous door locks. I did a video. Yes, we all do videos. So I did a video recently on the Zeus, like that Zen 32 scene controller, where you can make the lights change when certain things happen. In my door locks, I've got two of those. What are those? Sledge or whatever you call it, door locks, and they report when they open and close or lock and unlock, but they don't every time. So it makes my Zeus scene controller unreliable because I don't know if the light really means it's the door's unlocked or just an update. Other than that, I'm running I have 48 nodes on Z-Wave, and they just do what they're supposed to. So yeah, Z-Wave doesn't suck. Z-Wave is pretty awesome. I can't compare it to anything else other than Wi-Fi. I've got a Zigbee Aquara thing now, but it uses the Zigbee hub. I mean the Aquara hub, so I haven't really played with that much.
At least we've cleared that point. You've cleared your name.
I have the same setup that he's talking about here with the extender outside. I put it in a little weatherproof outlet cover. I was having a problem similar, but it ended up being because I was putting it on a metal mailbox. Even if it's not inside, if you don't have the right spot on the box, you get interference. It was weird. So, I mean, I'm not 2 feet. I wasn't 2 feet away. 2 feet away, I was okay. But
how far is the extender away from the next repeater in the network? Is the question.
Yeah, that, or is the network healed, or was it added somewhere else? I don't know. Because
I have one of those batteries. So sitting right under my pretty much under my feet here is the Home Assistant Blue and the Z-Wave. And this is you can't see it, but if you were to look at where I'm staring right now, that wall is the farthest wall on the south part of the house. On the farthest part of the north part of the house, there's a gate outside that has a battery-powered door sensor that I put on there because people would leave the gate open, the dog would get out. And it's silicone. It's made for inside, but it's been through the snowpocalypse last year where we all froze to death and the power went out and the water went out. It's been through baking summers, and it's all been out in like some pretty serious rainstorms, and it's all just stuck to the fence. And that thing, because I have powered devices that repeat inside the house, it works just excellently. I never have an issue with that. So when we talk about something like this, where it's 2 feet away from the extender, there's got to be something else between the actual Z-Wave hub, the controller, and that extender that isn't working. I don't think it's the extender itself that's probably not working if it's not blocked.
I've got a question for you, Aaron. It's a little bit. How long does it take you to do those big comparison videos? If you haven't seen the videos, you just go from one category, you just find all motion sensors and test them out.
It takes
do
forever.
you enjoy it? Is it?
I actually love especially after I got set up with Grafana watching Lewis's video. I actually love being able to use that data and compare them. And just honestly, the hardest part is editing videos. I mean, and I'm working with extremely limited time. So yeah, I mean, it's super fun, but it just. Whew.
Yeah, where do you? I mean, I see these videos or these pictures you put on Twitter or whatever, and it's like 20 devices. Like, where in the heck are you getting someone supplying you all these devices? And stuff?
I actually asked a lot of the people in the community. Just asked them, what devices do you guys like, and people have all sorts of different ones, and I just try them out. I figure. I mean, the biggest thing for me is that I really think that specifically for Home Assistant, not a lot of devices are. It's clear what works and how they work with Home Assistant. So I just been trying them out, and there's all kinds of use cases, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, those things take more time than I think I have time to make videos. Those kinds of videos, there's just a lot to it, right? I mean, you're right. The editing is the big one.
And the worst part is like when you're like, I forgot to do that test. I should have tried that. It's like, all right, next time.
Right, let's switch.
With carrying on with the outside theme. I've been doing lots of janky outdoor smart home things. Lots of sensors and cling film, and some dodgy wires going outside.
So it's a dodgy smart home. Is that what your new smart home you're building?
I don't know. No, I've been looking for a smart lock for my gate. So similar to Chris, I wanted to know if the back gate was open to stop the dog going out. And I haven't found one yet. So just as a quick thing, I've just put some Zigbee sensors, a bit of cling film on the gate. So, and it does the job.
Yeah, I was really surprised at that. I have 2 of those sensors outside, and they're siliconed onto the deal, and they're still working. I can't believe it. I expect those to fail within a week.
The thing that I had the most about that is that more time you spend in a project, it will probably be a less successful video in terms of how many hours you spend into doing something. And I'm drunk now, so I'll be open.
We got the mute button.
Get that mute button ready.
No, for the laughs, I started doing what I usually did before was a stream after the release of the Home Assistant, and for the laughs, I started doing video with beta version. Louis, spoilers. So those videos have more views, and I can do that in a couple of hours. I install beta, I test beta, whatever. I don't count that. I just talk about recording those videos and editing. So I can spend couple of hours into that, and I have 10 times more views than, for example, in doing something like Aaron did. And that's why I did first, second, and third, because I said, it's doing great for the channel. is it something that really is that important? Really not. It's not improving the community. It's not helping the community, if I'm ever helping or improving the community. But at the end,
Well, raise your hand if you've never done a filler video. A filler, like you don't have a lot of time. You got to make the video. You've never done a filler video?
I'm raising hands because I did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
We unfortunately, if any of us care about our channel at all, we're beholden to that A word. And as much as I hate, and this week is the first week in a long time, I will not have my own video up. Hey, Gio, can you send me a copy of this so I can post it on my channel? And so I need it, because I said, you know what? I'm going to do this live stream, and this is the time I would be filming something, right? So, but we're all beholden to the algorithm, and we have to put something there for just to appease that stupid and artificial intelligence thing. And so,
in what category are you? Are you in a science and technology?
I'm in a how-to or whatever it's called, whatever that how-to.
How-to videos are how to sew the button, how to,
What is your category? Does it matter?
I went into the science because I said I'm not sewing buttons.
I never considered that it makes a difference. Does it make a difference?
No, it doesn't. But there is no technology category. Because YouTube is not about technology, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Except everything I learned on YouTube.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, sometimes if I have I don't know about my topic until Wednesday night when I'm going to film it on Thursday morning. I'm like, okay, I'm going to put something together, and I'm going to edit it in an hour, and because it's all the time I have, because I have a full-time job and family and everything else, right? But you have to have something there to appease that algorithm.
I skipped a week.
Oh, so you're out, dude. You're out.
I skipped the week, and it had negative numbers for next 3 weeks.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean, I do. Yeah.
Honestly, I've not even tried that. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go with detailed video. Then get it out when I can.
That's great. That's great.
I can't. I can't literally cannot spend the time.
But we cannot be like that Mr. Matt Wark. He just has one mention from Paul Hibbert, and he's now a celebrity.
Oh yeah.
I forgot Reed gave me a shout out too. That was
every
other week.
Yeah.
Everyone gives me
in the same week. Yeah.
What are you doing here with us? Okay, so Louis also. What are you doing? Just kidding, guys.
We get a cap it then. So basically, we get a this
group. If you are mentioned by Paul Hibbert and Reed, then you are out.
You're going in the big dog thing. No,
I tried to get it mentioned by Dr. Z's once just to see what happened, but it didn't.
I was mentioned a couple of times. But yeah,
I think well, I just did a video today for Monday. Monday's become my day. I don't know why. I just picked Monday. So I try to do it at least, 3-4 days before. If not, it just becomes too crazy.
I've been
doing. And it was about the energy. If anyone wants to know, it was. I actually did some analysis, and I used the actual research paper from Cambridge University to actually estimate different automations in smart homes, how much money you can actually save. And there's a little calculator. I don't know, you'll see on Monday. I don't know why, but hopefully it's going to be useful. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be 100 people coming and saying you've done a wrong, stupid math calculation on your Excel. And it's completely wrong.
This is why in your videos you say, now this is the way I do it. It doesn't mean this is the way you have to do it. I think in one of my recent ones, I said, I don't do the same thing my neighbor does down the street or you do over there. I do it what works for my environment. But that's a good word.
It actually all started with, I think it was Lewis, you did the Shelly TRV. So I looked at the video and I was like, I want to buy it. But I was like, can I justify the cost? So I need to do, break-even analysis, right? Because I've got a bit of economics background. So I said, I need to do some analysis to justify the cost of it and see if it does make sense. And that's why I started the video. And I thought maybe other people will be doing this and to see, do TRVs or whatever smart thermostats actually do make a difference or not. Anyway, I'll stop promoting my own stuff.
No.
Move to the next question.
I really
Go ahead,
love
you.
watching all of your content. You wouldn't. I know it can be cliche, or I can say whatever I can say now. Who will check what I did or didn't do? But I really like watching all of your content. I really watch
He's
a
drunk.
lot of content. Sorry.
Who's
I
your
will be doing-
favorite?
I will send you a message. But
It's not
one
This is
thing-
the entertaining part of this stream has now begun.
yeah. But one
Hey,
thing
we-
I'm really looking forward. Somebody will be bringing. Blah, 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 blah. Somebody will bring whiskey tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking at you
Okay.
currently. Yeah.
Yeah, we do have some fun content tomorrow.
Yeah.
do.
All right,
Yeah,
nice. That's
I really like what I'm doing. I really like recording videos. I really like if at least one person finds that content useful.
Yeah. Yep.
And all of you guys really are doing great job. I really am looking all of your videos. Some of the things I'm not using. For example, I'm sorry Jeff is not here. He made a video yesterday about Tuya, a local
yeah,
access.
it's a great video.
I don't
watched
use
it.
Tuya, but it was great video.
Yeah.
I will not.
Well, how
use
many
Tuya.
times do you watch a video on YouTube? And it doesn't have to be about Home Assistant. Like I watch a lot of camping videos or whatever, because I just like watching the content. Or I watch Linus. He's built 4,000 billion computers. So who cares? He's building another computer. But it's just a little bit of entertainment to keep in the background, right?
Yeah.
But it's good because it's good when things we're doing different videos. I don't like watching the same video. Sometimes the only downside I have to be honest is when certain brands sending the same gadget to everyone at the same time, and then all the videos come out at the same time, and I'm thinking, it's a poor experience for the audience because they've seen pretty much a copy and paste video, but at least I never know. So if someone contacts me, I think, oh, all right, I'll make a video on this. But I don't know if they've contacted another 5-6 people in the same niche, and then everyone publishes at the same time. I don't think that is something maybe we can coordinate better and just be a bit open and honest.
Two of my
Yeah,
packages.
quit stealing my
got
sponsors,
lost.
Geo. Data Camp.
Two of my packages
Hey.
got lost, and I was really looking forward to play with those things, but then 7 days later, everybody went out with those same devices that I never received at the end. I'm still very sorry that I didn't get to play with them. I will probably get my own and play with them. But you are right. It is something like who made that video about Samsung projector that Samsung never sponsored, something like that. It was the hookup.
I know.
Hookup, yeah.
Hookup, yeah.
The hookup made.
Yeah.
It was great video. It was really great video because I don't want people, thinking that when I get device from, I have a couple of devices that I cannot record video of, because if I would record video, it would be like, oh, don't buy them. It sucks. And it's easier for me to never record about video that than to say it really is a good device. And then look at the hate comments when people spend money on those devices.
That's right, because we're trying to talk about saving money, right?
Yeah.
Last thing you want to do is buying gadgets that you don't.
You almost have to have a disclaimer like, look, I didn't buy this, so a price analysis is only good if you really felt the loss of it, or you're comparing two things at different prices. Seems like otherwise it's really hard to. I mean, like if you got something for free, you didn't really feel the impact, the economic impact. So, it wasn't really worth it. But yeah, I just feel like I'm super selective now. Like I wasn't when I first started because I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm just so selective now because I'm just like, I really don't want to. It's almost like, if you don't have a lot of time, then what happens is if you do get a device from someone, you're like a month later than everyone else anyway. So it's like a fresh video.
Do you know what I like? What I problem is, for example, company like Banggood will send you bunch of stuff. but the Banggood is overpriced. So always, you can always find something somewhere cheaper than you would find it on the Banggood. So now I started. I get a list from them. We can send you these things. Then I sent to my Discord server and said, "Look, listen, guys, are you interested in anything from the list? If you are, I will say that they send me the device, and I will record video because there is at least one person wanting to see if this device sucks or not." But what I like is, I will not name the company, but companies that makes PCB boards. I really do like
We know the company.
soldering. It doesn't have to be that company, but the companies that say, "Okay, we will sponsor the video." I bring them the project that I want to do. For example, I have here a couple of boards that are half soldered. I'm doing my project. I'm doing something that I'm interested. They're covering the cost of that, which is a plus to me. But I don't have to say, "Oh, listen, this device is awesome, really."
You're a great salesperson.
I'm a sales guy. I'm a sales guy.
I know you are.
I
Okay,
hate
let's
it,
get
but
to
it's
Dr.
sales guy.
Curious, right? Dr. Curious has been waiting. I don't know if he's
Sorry.
still here. So the question is, will the Lovelace Home Assistant dashboard basically, can we modify it, not through hacks, built directly? And he was mentioning you, Lewis, who's actually working on it. Not too sure. It's not 100% clear on the question, to be honest. I don't know if it's because it's late, I have lack of sleep.
I'm not exactly sure what he means, although he's saying about masonry at the end, so maybe he means the grid or like the drag and drop.
The masonry is the default layout style for the dashboards, right? So you can choose sidecar, and what was the other one? Something else.
Yeah.
So
you can do that for a while.
So
technically.
I think I know I have a dashboard. I don't know if y'all have dashboard videos, but I have a grid card dashboard video that builds a whole. In fact, I also have my Galaxy tab that's sitting here. I've got both of those that I build out step by step that talk about how to do that. It doesn't use HACS at all. It's just the Loveless dashboard, and it has all the stuff that I use on a daily basis on it. So I think the answer is we can do it now. The only thing I don't know about is drag and drop. I think that's one of the things that maybe is still coming. Oh, yeah, Jan says drag and drop. I don't know, drag and drip. So that's who was it doing that? Zach.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Zach. Every time that comes up, Zach just kind of laughs and says, "Yeah."
He'll just appear in a second. That's usually what happens.
Yeah. So we don't know because Zach's the core developer for that stuff now, and so I don't really know.
I think it's not going to be an easy feature to build. I think it sounds easy, drag and drop, but drag and drop can, with different browser windows, and I don't know how it's going to work on the web, on the app. If you can do drag and drop on the app, I don't think it's an easy thing to do. That's why it's taking a while. But it's going to be super.
So it's
valuable.
like Grafana, right? You can take those grids in Grafana and move them around, but it's one. Grafana is its own environment, right? Versus having something like all these different cards that have different things on them and different setups. That you make them all kind of go together. I don't know. You're right. It's going to be hard.
I'll be honest. I don't understand. I don't see the fascination with it myself, because you can just create a card and then press the up arrow like a couple of times to get it to where you want it to be.
Well, here's an example, right? So on mine right now, I'm looking at my dashboard, and a couple times I've had issues, or not issues. I've looked at it and said, okay, I really wish that was on the first column rather than the second. And if I could just drag it over, you can't move it over to that one. You have to start over.
Press the up arrow a couple of times and it should jump over.
But it goes up. It doesn't go over to I have 3 grid card columns.
On the length of the card. If the cards are, I can sometimes have problem with aligning them, because if the cards are, you have 5 long ones and 3 short ones, you can never get them perfectly aligned. But who is using UI? Why are you using UI? It's home automation. You shouldn't use UI.
Wall-mounted tablets.
Wait a minute now.
Oh,
No, just I'm just provoking. Sorry, I'm provoking. But the question is, if we are talking about smart home, we shouldn't do
Oh, we've
anything.
opened the can of worms now.
That's it. Here we
Yeah,
go.
I am.
Uh-oh.
It's rant time.
Started.
Rant
Well,
time.
let me answer that question for you. It's not necessarily that you're controlling things with the UI. I'm sitting at my desk here. I have people in the house, and I can look at this thing, this dashboard, and I can see everything going on for the most part in the house at a glance, right? So it's more about awareness and people who control things like alarm systems that put a tablet right on their front, has a camera display. So there is a use case for the UI. There's a lot of other stuff that can be automated as well, but automation, I don't know how many people are actually using true automation for things like I walk in the door or my car, let's say my car pulls in the driveway. The door opens up. The temperature gets set exactly the way I want it. The lights go on. Starts the oven. It pulls the food out of the fridge and sticks it in for me. I just go sit on the couch. The ding goes off, and I'm ready to have supper. Tunes the channel on the TV that I want to watch. I mean, that stuff, we're not there yet, I don't think. But in terms of UI and controlling things, I would rather push this button right here, turn off my lamp, which I just did sometimes, versus saying, oh, hey, smart speaker, turn on my lamp or whatever like that. So there is a use case for stuff like that.
It's also
think
for other
one-
people too, not just you. I mean, I would just automate all for me, but there's things like guests come, or we have the announcements. I have a wall dashboard, and my wife can just press a button, press a little button card, and it says like come upstairs, time for lunch, whatever it is, and her
I was
having
wondering where you were going with that.
broadcast.
Yeah,
Oh, gosh.
Come upstairs.
tell me about it.
All right. But her having to like broadcast, tell a smart speaker to then broadcast a message. Hopefully it gets it right. We have some pre-programmed stuff. And I mean, also I think, being able to view information, did I get mail? I can see if it's lit up or not. Or if I want to control a smart vacuum, that you don't want to do it by voice. People feel silly speaking to technology. So just the ability to sort of manually control.
I have opposites. Nobody in my home is using any dashboards,
Yeah,
tablets,
Mine's the same as you.
mobile
I've got young
phone,
children and
anything. They are
my wife
just
doesn't use it.
using voice and fingers. So that's why if I would redo my apartment, I would do it completely different. I wouldn't buy a single Zigbee bulb. Those are waste of money in my
No,
apartment.
switches.
Yeah,
Switches.
switches. I would go for switches everywhere. So
Switches
they can
all day.
click their heart out. And
I
the
never
smart
use
vacuum.
voice ever. I hate voice.
Smart vacuum. Do you know how it operates? Every single member of the family has app. Every single
Ooh.
for the robo vacuum or the home assistant. But they take it, bring it to room, and press the button on it. but it's like those jokes about the UI. We can create whatever we want, but it all depends on how the user wants to use whatever is created there. They know that it will work, and they operate it like that.
And I think that's the important part, right? And I make this statement every time I do a video. I don't know how you're going to use this. Here's how I put it in. Here's a basic way to set it up, and then you can extend it out however you want to, right? So I think it's just a usage.
My kid has a Xiaomi button in her room. It has single, double, triple, and quadruple press. So she has it next to her bed. There is also a smart device in her room, so she or my wife can use the voice. All the lights usually are controlled, I don't know by whom, but there is one, I call it night light, which is like a rubber goose that is almost meter high, which is half sculpture, half light. And it sits on the floor, it imitates the night light. Do you know how they turn that light on and off? The best smart home automation. They just shout, hey, Andre, turn that light on or off. So I go
you
to
go.
the UI and turn it on and turn it off.
There you go.
They have at least 3 options to do it, but I'm the 4th, and it's much easier to tell me to do that than any other option they have.
Just one
They
other
just have to say goose, and that's it. Goose
One other-
on, goose off. And
one other thing I want to mention about the UI that I think is important is I'm comparing just maybe for a video, but Habitat and Smart Things and Home Assistant. And Home Assistant has by far the best UI. I mean, you have to set it up, but it's way better, especially better than Habitat. And I think people come to it for that. I mean, people like a good UI, and it's kind of like a waste to not have a good UI, in my opinion. I mean, to not have a nice dashboard because
It's a bit like an art, right? It's a bit like an art. I mean, I've done dashboards for different purposes in my day job, but it is an art. You spend ages doing these dashboards. I actually need to redo my dashboard again. Every year I feel that, because what happens is I add more devices, and so it does not make sense anymore how it's laid out, or things change, and then I'm like, okay, this is taking me too many steps to get to that. So yeah, it's a never-ending piece of work, I think. But I enjoy doing it. But like, and another thing I would add to the voice stuff, my son, he's 4, and he's figured out how to do broadcasts with the Amazon devices, and we've got a few in the house. So now he's able to do anything. Bring me biscuits. The stuff that he says just makes me laugh. I said, how's he figured that out? Because he's seen me use it, and now he started using it. And
Well, my son will not walk up the stairs until he turns on the playroom light. He yells at the thing across the room, blankety blank, turn on playroom. And he'll do it 6 times until he gets it right. I mean, but he'll turn it on. He won't come up the stairs unless that light gets turned on. And he knows how to do it.
You are using conversations in the Home Assistant.
Using what?
Conversations.
What is that?
Yeah, that's my next video. By the way, I know
okay.
what
When
I'll
is
be
that
doing
dropping?
next week. But no,
when is it dropping?
Is that
I
like
was
the
really
flow based?
thinking about that. Conversation is that if you go to UI, 3 dots, you have microphone then. And you can touch the microphone and either dictate or type in the command. For example, I released video yesterday about let's say it's yesterday, about the shopping list. And somebody said, oh, it would be great to integrate shopping list with Google Home or the other company. And I said, do you know that you already have that option embedded in Home Assistant? You go there, press on the mic, say with your own voice, not wake up word, just say, add milk to my shopping list. And it will automatically add it to the internal Home Assistant shopping list. So there is already something that I think that only 0.5% of the people using Home Assistant are using.
Is it an integration? It'll tell you how many people are using
It's
statistics.
It is integration, but it's something like, Home Assistant integration and the default configuration. I don't know if it's like separate integration.
I
like
think
conversations.
that's awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
So-
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, but I thought that everybody knew about it. I didn't use it because I have Google devices, so I'm going towards the Google device. Now I have the other devices also, and I said, "Well, people are really." That's really why I started recording videos about when we are going back to the Home Assistant. Is that there are, I think, almost 2,000 integrations now, of which at least 200-300 are internal Home Assistant integrations that don't require any other hardware, software, service, free or premium to work. And there are a lot of things as a radio browser, for example, that you can do without anything else. You can, even if you don't have a single smart speaker, you can still set up your Home Assistant, open the box with the yellow, install it, have radio playing in the browser for the start, and then you can expand. I'm not talking about Almond. Almond is something that I wish that it would be able to fully replace all those other smart assistants there.
Maybe one
I
day.
watched the Stanford. I don't know if anybody of you watched the Stanford's
Yeah.
gig when they were presenting.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I wish I would be able to have independent, although it is Chinese based, so you don't know. You've got Google, Amazon.
Makes you
Siri,
reconsider everything, right?
yeah.
Depending on which country they're based in now.
But there are really a lot of options inside Home Assistant, and it can turn the lights on. It can do most of the things that the smart speakers can do as external services. It can do inside Home Assistant, and I never use it because I always thought of it like I need the Raspberry Pi with the microphone. So I was like, hey, Home Assistant, do something. It didn't feel natural because you're expecting to have commodity speaker from Home Assistant that you would yell at. Yeah. But you can yell at mobile phone. It works on a mobile phone.
I'm gonna try that out. You've got the video ready for that?
No, I'm preparing the script, but I will be
Looking
doing it
forward to it.
next week.
Got a couple of quick questions, and then we got a bigger question. So actually, one's for you. Yeah, that's the big question. So one's for
big
you,
one.
Mark.
Yeah. So
this
that-
is for you.
I guess with that's you're putting the sensor and then you're connecting the probes to something else. Yeah. The reason I didn't do that was just it was just easy to just get a bit of cling film, put that inside of a sensor and stick that on the door. But yeah, I could have done that.
Nice. And David's saying from Facebook, because we're also live not only on YouTube, we're on Twitch and Facebook. And David says,
wow.
yeah,
Live
see,
in the metaverse.
we are in the metaverse. So we should.
What do
all
we
get
look like in
night boots.
VR? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
We'll do it next time.
In
Should
10
all get
days,
night boots
in
for
10
the.
days, Oculus. Oh,
All right.
My wife hates you.
Oh, look at that! Oh, hold on. What's someone's doing something strange with their face? Was that my?
it's Matt work.
Oh, look at that! Oh, all right.
Now
This
you're
is Disney, yeah.
handsome. Now you're
That's great.
And the most important part of this comment, and my wife hates you all hates
Mine
us all.
does too, so it's okay.
So yeah, and
I'm still surprised at how either she just completely is ignoring me on this stuff, or she just accepted the fact that she married a geek nerd guy. And the thing about it, the way you get wife buy-in or buy-in from family members is like the switches. You have to make the switches work, even if Home Assistant doesn't. That's why I have all those GE paddle switches. You can turn it on or off without, regardless of whether or not. Like I'll go down and I'll say, blankety blank, turn on kitchen. It turns on two different switches because we have two different light thingies in there. She'll walk over on her way in the kitchen and push the buttons. Like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Why are you touching that stuff? Anyway, but it's their choice, right? They have a choice of whether they're going to do it or not. So the one thing I think, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say she appreciates this, is that when we arm the alarm at night, Home Assistant goes through and does all the things. Shuts the garage if we forget to leave it open, locks the doors, turns the lights off, sets the temperature, and all that, right? So that's the best part, I think.
I'll tell you a secret. I'm going to lower my voice, but when my wife's very angry with me, the thing that she'll tell me to annoy me the most is I hate all the smart stuff you've got. It really annoys me. And you know, and I was like, okay, you've triggered me now. You got my attention. But anyway, forget that. So I will probably edit that out.
Yeah.
If not, you'll see me disappear for a few months. Let's
They
go to the
hate me
question.
when I play with the voice mods for the sound effects. You know, I just sitting on the computer. I don't do voice mods for streams, but I then spent half an hour just like sounding like Thanos, like Ghost, like whatever. I'm just having fun. Like kid, like play. Listen to my voice.
I've literally done the exact same thing before. You sit down to start filming and you're playing with all these buttons and then that's 2 hours gone.
Yeah.
Right. So Nuno, I hope you're still here. But there's this big question: should Nabucco be blocked in Russia? Is it already blocked? So let's cover that. Does anyone know? Yes or no? If it is,
No, I don't
it's
know.
already blocked.
But I wouldn't bot block it. I was really, I was talking but listening and thinking about that Nabucco.
The question.
That's excellent question. That's really great question. But as I said, as I know Russian language, in the last 20 days, I went 2 or 3 times to the Russian newspapers, like real Russian newspapers, not the European or American version of them, but straight down to Komsomolskaya Pravda or whatever. And I was reading that and I was like, I wouldn't use this word now, but you wouldn't believe how twisted the things are. And it's the same thing, but somebody asked Elon Musk to block the internet in Russia, and he said no. Then they asked the EAC, how it's called, the ones that are providing domain names and routing, EAC, and they said no. Yeah, they said no. And I at the end, I'm really agreeing because you're really cutting the only way that some of the people can get to at least some of the information outside the Russia. You wouldn't believe the local news. It's like parallel universe. And by the way, out of 6 people here, we, as the country I'm living in, are the only country that got hit by a missile or drone or unmanned aircraft vehicle. And to see the difference between the local media and all the European media, which I understand. I understand the politics. You have to keep things, down and low. But the downplaying from I'm watching Euronews, BBC One, things like that. Downplay. They said unmanned drone fell in the outskirts of the city. It's like 500 meters from my office, which is in the center of the city. It's like 50 meters from the dorm, from the biggest university. It's like 20 meters from the houses living with thousands of people. That I understand because.
But how big was the drone? Sorry to interrupt. Like, because I think of these little drones on we have.
It's 6.5 tons. It's 6.5 tons. It's like 10, 12 meters length, 3 meters.
That's like a pickup truck. So
it's
heavy.
like a small aircraft, more than the drone. It's like, do you remember? You were alive in the World War II. Do you remember the last aircrafts Germans were sending to London? The one that had the jet engine on the back. So it was like small aircraft with the jet engine. It looks similar to that.
Right. And I guess it classifies as a drone because it hasn't got a pilot. I guess
it doesn't
that's
have a
a
pilot.
differentiating factor.
And then you have 2 different versions. Official NATO is saying it was unnamed spy drone. Whoever sent it, we don't know if it's officially. We don't know if it's Russia sending from the territory of Ukraine, or was it Ukraine by mistake or something happening to the drone? So anything is possible. I'm not really blaming anything. In the war, anything can happen. You can have straight bullet, you can have straight rocket, you can have whatever. But, it's not, it wasn't, I had a lot of friends living in less than 200 meters circle from that. And the difference between the media, between the EU, and we are still talking the same thing. We are in the NATO, we are in the EU, we are like same policy, same everything. NATO is saying no explosive. Our government is saying, yeah, we found explosive. Which changes drastically the story. It's like explosives hitting the NATO country. You have Article 5, which requires you to defend the NATO country. If there is no explosive, there is no need for answer.
Yeah,
I understand. You don't want to open Pandora box. But just looking from that perspective, you can imagine how big differences are between the media in Russia presenting things in the EU and Ukraine now and what the Western states are saying.
Yeah.
More or less, all the Russian states are saying we are all mad. We are all Nazis. We all want to kill all the Russians. Really. I'm simplifying that. But unfortunately, the official media really is saying that. So back to the topic of Nabukasa or internet, I really wouldn't do that. Okay, Nabukasa is not really important to the information and providing people with what's going on.
Yeah.
But still, I don't see benefit of
So,
any
yeah,
impact. Any
no, I
impact.
agree with you. I get from my point of view, right? You think of, right, they imposing the sanctions for me should be like, well, we want to stop what's happening. Okay. So what would change
too.
if Nabucco is blocked in Russia? Would that actually make, oh yeah, you know what, that was the last thing that, oh yeah, now we got to change our minds of what's going on. I think it's just going to make the situation worse, but that's my opinion.
It's a difficult one though,
then
because they might have no choice
Yeah,
because
at the end, no, yeah.
since they're on AWS servers,
I was going to bring that up. Aren't
if
they on
Amazon
AWS?
decides to just block.
Well, I know that Cloudflare said they weren't going to block it for the same reason we're talking about, right? You don't want to. What's happening is internet providers and media companies are removing the what are considered the fake news stuff, the propaganda stuff, and then everything else is they're not stopping the internet. They're just removing stuff that they consider to be not reporting correctly or whatever. But Cloudflare said they're not going to do it. And then is there word that Amazon's going to, like, I know earlier on we talked about storage, right? Did they block access to their servers from there?
Yeah, they did.
So is it, I guess, there's probably not anybody on this thing from Russia right now, but is there a way to tell? Is it just stopped working?
As far as I know, it is. For the Microsoft, I'm sure. For the Microsoft, I'm 100% sure. We are one of the Europeans' biggest partners for the Microsoft, and we are providing services for the Ukraine, Azerbaijan, Moldavia, blah, 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 blah. And I know that is. And one thing that Microsoft did is I really would like to congratulate them on that, is that they're providing all the companies in Ukraine at least 3 months of free services. They're providing free licenses. They're providing most of that stuff free for private and companies in Ukraine. We are a company that is working in Ukraine, and a lot of the companies that pandemics didn't push towards the clouds are now pushed. They don't have offices. They're destroyed. So they have to move at least of part of their business to the online. And I really would like to thank all the companies that are helping that. I know, because I listened to my colleague from Ukraine calling her customers and just saying, don't worry about the bills. You will not be charged for the next 3 months. We will see what will happen about it. I really wish that this would happen. This would finish in the period up until 3 months.
Yeah. Hopefully, we all wish that.
We got 5 years. I hope that it doesn't pass 2 years. If it happens in 3 months, thank God. But it should be great. I'm really hoping.
Yeah, and Nuno says that there are like 5,000 Home Assistant users, which is not insignificant. I think it was 100K worldwide, the reported users.
Reporting analytics 100K and about 110, 14.
147,000.
47, yeah, without
so
analytics,
it's not an insignificant number of people. Like, I was also thinking about like open source collaboration. Like, if you say, like, if GitHub is blocked, they can't actually contribute anymore. You might have people contributing from Russia.
You know what's also interesting is 12,589 in Germany. And to me, the most interesting of all this, I'm looking at the data site now, 7,000 Chinese installations.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if we're talking about Russia not being able to get to it. I mean, China, I would think wouldn't allow that either. How are they even doing it? That's
I don't know.
interesting to me.
I've noticed. I don't know about those that have big numbers, such as Louis or Mark, but I've noticed increase of the Asian Chinese symbols in the names of the people accessing or subscribing to the channel, which is something that I never seen before. It has started to increase.
Yeah, and we also got Harvinder saying that he's sort of agreeing about the brainwashed and the blocking the news. Yep, and I think we got another point. Blocking avocados will only hurt nerds like us, not anyone who makes choices. I think there's another comment, but for some reason I can't see it. Oh, I think Dave is heading off. All right, awesome. But yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, thanks for the beautiful backpack, which I enjoyed thoroughly at the beginning of this stream. So yeah, no, it's really. There was another one which I was looking at. Another comment. Shout out if you've seen a comment that you want me to pull up. I've just lost it now.
Victor said the rocket was called V2. Thank you, Victor.
And he's in Germany, one of the
V2.
12,000 Germany, whatever I said the number was for Germany.
Yeah.
Someone's got the image. They can share the image or screen. I don't know. That would be cool to see. I don't know. It's crazy what these sort of things can do.
I'm most irresponsible here drinking. I'm not designated driver. I will not be clicking and I will click probably something wrong. So
Well, were you trying to look at the analytics?
No,
I'm not clicking anything.
One thing I want to remind anyone in the meantime, right? Forget about liking the video, forget about subscribing or non-subscribing or whatever. But it was just really, pointing out Kevin's. He had to go. Probably he can't see this now, but he did make that donation to the Red Cross. So that is a valuable contribution, or to any charity that you want to do. So actually, if you go on the website, it actually tells you the amount of money that you're contributing and how's that going to actually impact. So that was a quick mention. Don't like the video or stuff like that.
You can see
Just
my eyes started to watering down. It's really,
I know, but
it's really anything that can help those guys, gals, country, people moving abroad, anything, as I said, we as a company have offices there, and the same day the war, not the thing, it's not the thing, it's the war. We call it what it is. We don't have to downplay it. I volunteered as a driver, so meaning that if there is any employee or family member from our company that had to be transported from the Ukrainian-Hungarian border, 30 of us from the company volunteered to be designated drivers. So we have rotational lists. If anybody calls, we see the car, go pick them up and bring them here. And it's really
how long is that journey?
It's not that long. It's like we are a rocket away. You can see the
rocket away.
It's like 4 hours, 5 hours drive from here, or something like that. Yeah, it's very near.
It's not even that. That's it takes longer to drive across the state of Texas than that.
It's very near. It's very near.
Right.
If we talk about back again about that, if we talk about drone path, it flew 7 minutes through the Romania, 40 minutes through the Hungary, and 7 minutes through Croatia to reach to us. So less than an hour flight from Ukraine to here. Speed was 700 kilometers. So, yeah.
A wild Zach Barrett appeared.
Oh no.
Oh no, Zach.
Yeah, see, drag and drop. He heard that drag and drop.
It's already implemented. I'm going to test the dev version. So sorry.
There you go. There's a delay in my system on getting the actual comment. There you go. Hey Zach, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you have to look at the actual YouTube and then I guess whatever
Yeah,
you're
I've got
using.
the YouTube on the right, but the StreamYard one for some reason is slightly delayed. The comment comes in later. But yeah, no, absolutely.
Did we not have a Ukrainian on the chat a minute ago at the very beginning? Oh, we did.
Yes,
We did
yes,
have Andre
we did.
and somebody else.
We did, yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't want to make this some sort of debate or anything. I guess we're trying to think of from a smart home or tech point of view. But yeah, I didn't know about the AWS thing. That is for me a big one just to think of and think about, situation. Here you go. It's Richard, comment from Richard about data from like hospitals and clinics, right? So if you think healthcare is normally digitalized,
It is today completely.
apart from the UK where we seem not to have much digitalized, but
It
at least
is. It is.
but there's a lot of digitalized going on, which makes it scary if you think the data just disappears, medical records and things like that. What is it? Also, like the blood donors and all that stuff, right? It's all digital, right? So
I think
quite sensitive.
I think
Blocking
that
it
kind of
out.
shows how how widespread the effect of something like that can be. I mean, you don't know how far it's going. And there's like an example. There was like a social media platform that was trying to get up and go into the U.S. It's kind of a political thing, but because of the different people who are on it, and it was kind of, I don't want to get into it, but pretty much Amazon shut it down. Just boom, shut it down. And so it was a platform, like their message was get away from big tech and freedom of speech, but they were using Amazon servers, and boom, they're shut down. So it's like everything is so connected. That if there's this kind of stuff, if it's not targeted, you don't know who else you're affecting. And
Well, if you look at the outages, right? Look at the outages that if you take Amazon down, for example, I mean, how many sites go down with it? We've had some pretty significant downtime from some of the Amazon regions in the last couple of months that just basically shut down tons of sites, right? So we're all reliant and interconnected on all of this stuff. Kudos to the non-connected home assistant local APIs that we have to run some of this. I'm sure I just interrupted something you were saying, and probably doesn't even apply to what you were talking about.
No, I was just saying that. Yeah, I mean, I think that if the internet is someone's voice, and you shut that down because you're not very targeted in what you do, I mean, you could cause more harm than you know, and then they have no way to tell you that. So it's like it's a lot of power.
Yep. That's when you have all those platforms on those providers, and the one provider goes down or gets taken down or turns it off. Your whole thing is. I mean, my company, we're an Amazon among other things, like integrator and stuff like that. So we are dealing with it all the time, right? We work with that all the time.
All right, guys, I think we gone over the 2-hour mark. It's 11. I think it's 12 for BT.
Just lights just turned off.
Oh wow!
Is that an automation?
Okay,
Yep, it is midnight. Yeah. I did it in the first 5 videos. A couple of years ago, I had tradition. I watched TV at evening, and every evening I fell asleep, and all the lights were on, and the TV was on. And the first automation I did was shut down everything at midnight. I don't care what it is, just shut it down. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think soon the stream will shut out. I think before we leave, just wanna go around everyone. Just let us know what's the smart project you're actually working on? What's coming up next on the channel?
Oh my gosh.
But very brief run. Look, we'll start from the reverse, BT first, and then we'll go up. I don't know.
Solar weather station. I've been working it for about 3 or 4 weeks now. Solar weather station, so powered by solar, working on 18650 battery. It has to track rain, wind, temperature, UV, and works on ESP home. And I don't know, I think that the video will be in about 2 or 3 weeks, and it's been such a blast of project. I've learned so much about it, and people will probably hate the video, but I don't care.
Right, awesome. Well, hopefully it will be great. Lewis, what are you working on?
I've been working on the matter video, so covering what matter's all about and that sort of stuff. Although there was the news today that it got
Yeah.
cancelled, so
I saw
Video is
that.
delayed.
well,
Video
maybe
is
just
delayed.
delay that for a little while.
Nice. All right, Aaron. I know you got the big video coming up.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
Sneak
finish
peek.
up. Yeah, comparing a bunch of temperature sensors and using Grafana, which is so awesome. It's so nice having that. So just working on that, and also, like I mentioned, Habitat and Smart Things and Home Assistant, and just kind of an unbiased view at looking at them. But if you can be unbiased once you've used Home Assistant.
Fair enough. Mark.
I've actually got like several things that are like half done. It's one of those. I've got some DIY things which have been taking a while, and I'm doing some fun stuff with a car at the minute. So yeah, probably stuff coming soon this weekend, probably, because I've not done anything this week. Well, I've not done anything. I just haven't had time because family and stuff.
Sure. All right. Oh, we do have
one thing actually. I do have something fun that I'm doing tomorrow.
Yes. What are you doing tomorrow?
I'm doing something fun with BT, but
Yes. It's just we'll keep that secret, right? I'm looking for it. I keep my eyes peeled. There's a shout out for the famous bed sensor, Lewis.
Oh, nice.
And also, most importantly, donation to the Red Cross.
Thank you.
Chris.
Oh my gosh. Next Wednesday, I'll know what Thursday's video is going to be.
Right. What are you working on? Just give us a high.
Well, I've been playing around with different things. Like I'm jumping on the Aquara bandwagon. So I've been messing around with those Aquara devices, which, by the way, gosh, I'm loving this. Because, I mean, look at the size of that thing. That is so small. I'm having a real problem with my multi-sensor 6 in my study because it's the only one that I use to turn on lights. Okay, Aaron. All right. I got the package deal too. So I'm going to put this in its place because I use it to turn the lights on down there and it's halfway not working. So that's that. I want to play with more Zigbee. I know I'm a Z-Wave person, but every time I talk about Zigbee in some video, I say I'm going to get it. And I bought the Aquara hub thinking that it was going to be a Zigbee hub, which it's not. It's very sad by that. It's a Wi-Fi hub that talks to Zigbee. So I need to get a Zigbee hub from somewhere and try playing with these things that way. And the other thing I've been playing with is I want to power an ESP32 or an ESP8266 off a battery. I know it's silly.
Contact me. Watch my video. I spent a lot of time, at least 2 weeks playing with that, and I finally managed to do it.
Did you put it in deep sleep a bunch of times or something?
Yes.
Like that? Yeah.
It's deep sleep, wake, sensors wake. It's working perfectly, really perfectly.
Well, that's good because I have a lot of these. I have batteries. I can power them, but the batteries either last, and it depends on the battery. A lot of it's the battery. Does it last like a day or it lasts 3 days? That's as far as I've gotten with it, even in deep sleep. And I know these like sensors we have, these multi-sensors that last 6 months on a battery. I'm like, how come I can't make a little board last for 3 days, more than 3 days? So that's already out, that video?
It's not. The code is out. It's on my GitHub. Most of it's only on my GitHub, but the video is not. I'm waiting. Yeah, I know.
Mario says Zigbee is the best by far. I've heard opposite on that.
I heard you said Z-Wave. Okay, that.
Yeah, but have you seen Lewis's video on Thread I mean, that's nuts.
Fred?
Thread.
Oh,
Fred.
no.
Yeah.
Fred.
I thought you said Fred too.
Fred. Oh, yeah,
I was like,
Fred.
wait, what?
Fred. Who is the Fred? But by the way, who has tried Oculus with Home Assistant?
Frank?
Besides Frank. Okay, I know Mark has.
Mark has.
Yeah,
I
Mark
haven't got
has.
an Oculus. Should I buy one? Do I need to
What does
buy
that
one?
do for Home Assistant?
Nothing. But it's fun.
See,
Well, what
what
does it do in
what-
general, right? What's the
So-
point of?
Yeah, so when you're using it, you can obviously view and control everything that you can do with your UI. But what I like to use it for is you can expose the Oculus sensors to Home Assistant. So one of the main ones is knowing the battery level. That's like the one that I use most often. But then you can do cool things like you can see if somebody's wearing it. You can actually see what they're playing. So that's like a handy one if you want to use it like a do not disturb automation. Like you've got the Quest on, you're not going to be able to see or hear. So that's handy.
I bought myself one for birthday, so I'm waiting for it.
Happy
We'll definitely
birthday.
have to get on that.
It's
Zach says
birthday
Zigbee's
still-
better. Sorry.
It is. Zigbee is better.
Okay. I heard so much stuff about Zigbee being unreliable and not losing connection to things all the time. Maybe that was an earlier version. I know Thread's based on it.
Gotta have that good mesh.
Gio, what are you doing next?
Oh, yes.
Well, I've mentioned that already, but I'm going to mention it again. but yeah. So the
TRV
only thing I
thing.
thought was, sorry.
Was it the TRV thing? I was listening.
Yes. No. It was the energy saving calculator video, which will come out on Monday, which will basically allow you to plug in, depending on what automation you build. So I'll tell you what automation I've actually thought of. So one was like dropping temperatures in rooms that you don't use, and how you can do that in a smart way. And if you did do that, and depending on how many hours you drop, and how much what the temperature drop is, you can calculate what your saving is. So if and the same for cooling or heating would be the same concept. So if you to not heat a specific room by 2 degrees Celsius or 3 degrees Celsius for 4 hours per day, what's that gonna equate in a year, right? And the whole point of the video was that you can't really, if you buy a thermostat and you get a smart thermostat, but you're not actually doing any automation, it's pointless from a saving point of view, because it acts exactly as the same, so if you do like things like geolocation, how much money is that going to save you, depending on how much you're not in the house, right? So there's stuff like that. So I'm trying to help as much as I can, because I know people are very concerned about the high costs, and I haven't got a master's degree in gas and like a BT, so that's the best I can do. And yes, I don't know. We might invite Paul next time. He'll talk about Zigbee.
Only if he brings his socks. I like Mr. Socky better.
Yeah, I know.
But Gio, did you? This is kind of worms once again. Did
Here we
you
go.
take into account, will the energy to reheat the room, if it wasn't heated to whatever you needs to be heated to, be more than what it would be needed to keep the temperature of the room the same? I had a lot of back and forth with that.
Yes.
To
So, well, I think the way in the UK, normally bedrooms are at a higher level. So normally there's like 2-story or 3-story houses. I'm in a 3-story house. So even if I don't heat the bedroom, the heat
temperature
will still
goes.
go up. So, and it depends how big the rooms are. So another point was, don't put a TRV in a small room, because the radiator is so small that's not going to impact much. Go and do the bigger rooms first. And I was playing around, and actually you can get, in my example, with the size of my house and my cost of energy, I probably can get, it will take me a year to repay for a TRV. Roughly 50, 60 pounds would be, and it would take me 2 years for a smart thermostat, my current pattern, because I work from home. So most of the time I'm at home anyway, and I don't want to freeze. As you can see, I'm on short sleeve, so maybe I'm not good giving a good example. I should have a thick jumper on. the paper is actually quite interesting, and it's an old paper from 2012, and I've linked in, and you'll see it. And this paper basically also compares putting a fake jumper on, which is so fun. So you can compare like dropping the thermostat versus putting a fake jumper on. What's the difference? I don't know. It's not smart related anyway, but it touches upon plugs. So the standby things on the television, which my mum and dad used to always tell me switch it off, because there's still there's still the red dot, and how insignificant that is. And also motion sensors and lights. So there's actually a calculation on how much you do actually save by having motion activated lights, which isn't that much. Anyway.
Wow. So that was the whole video. We don't need to watch it now. We got it.
Okay, that's it.
I know. I bored everyone already. Yeah, I get the point. Yeah.
No.
I'm really curious about that because, I'm all about trying to control the temperature in this house and make it efficient. And when I first moved here, it was like Nazi. Well, it's probably a bad term right now. But anyway, I was very controlling of the thermostat. I didn't want people mess with it because I figured it would cost so much. Now I realize it costs less to just run it constantly than it does to stop and start because the influx current is so high on those compressors. So anyway, but I'm curious also,
right. I was so angry because I can't Google the question. When I can't Google the question, I get angry in the internet. Like I was trying to Google a specific answer and I was getting like, if you go on the brand's website, it's like up to 40% saving. I'm like, 40% of what? What does that mean? Where's the data?
Yeah, versus what? Nothing or
how did you get it? What's your model? Because you have to use a model because it's overcomplicated. You can't generalize the number. I can't tell you're going to save £50 or $50 without knowing your situation. It's a bit more complex than that. And like, what country do you live in? Because if you live in a cold country, it's going to make more sense than if you live in a country that doesn't have this big temperature swing. So anyway, I mean, the marketing is really bad, I think, of these products. No clear thing. A guy, really great follower, Mark, saying we need the yellow. Remember,
I don't think yellow exists.
I don't want to get into it right now because we got to wrap this up. But I've got the Odroid, and I'm curious how the yellow is better than the Odroid, and can I run everything on the yellow that I was able to run on the Odroid?
It's deep fake. I think it's deep fake. Nobody has seen it. Even Lewis hasn't. It's a deep fake. It will never go out.
It's gonna go in a museum one day as the first few units around in the world.
Yeah, I could hold
All
on
right,
to
guys.
it.
Yeah, we got it. I'm gonna have to bail on this here conversation.
All right.
I know it's later for y'all than me, and I gotta go feed the dog and stuff because she likes to eat for some reason.
Well, I just want to thank you, Chris, and thank everyone for the stream. I had a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll do it, in the better circumstance or not. And someone else can host next time because saying this all up is a bit of a pain.
So I think
who's doing next?
Yeah, we just have to figure out who knows how to do it. I guess you've got to use the service or similar service, right? So there is that part of it as well.
Any service is fine. I'll log in any way if you want to invite me. If not, it's fine also.
I'd like to do this on a more regular basis. I used to do live streams every 2 weeks, and I just haven't had time. But I can tell my wife, "Hey, I'm getting on with all these celebrities, and we're gonna talk about stuff." She's like, "Okay." When I say celebrities, she's all for it. So
when are the celebrities joining?
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I was waiting for them too.
Well, we're getting there. We're one day we'll have real celebrities and real guests, but not now. Not now. But look,
we should all sit around the podcast so we can use these fancy microphones and do. Yeah. Aren't we supposed to have podcast shorts and long form videos now on YouTube? We're supposed to do all that and ask surveys.
Yeah. So. Sure, and the shorts, everything. Shorts.
Thank you.
I have shorts. You don't want to see them.
No, we don't. All right. Well, thanks, Gio, for setting it up. Thanks, everyone, for chiming in, and for everyone that supported our cause today, or the cause that we're talking about. Yes. I think that link stays up the whole time, right? They can always donate to that. It's not.
I don't know. I'm not responsible for the Red Cross.
Right, but the Red Cross is always going to be there, right?
Hopefully.
I mean,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? The donation continues after the stream is over.
Yes. So anyone rewatching the stream, it will stay up on the channel, and you can just continue donating, and I'll donate anything that comes out of the video in terms of ads or whatever. I don't think it's going to be that much, but I'll do my own thing separately.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Thank y'all.
All right. See you guys.
All right, thanks.
Bye.